Misalignment between sales and marketing is a $1 trillion problem in B2B revenue teams. There are a few key factors that led to this divide. To name a few, sales reps not knowing how to surface the appropriate content in their sales deals. There's a lack of tracking the effectiveness of that content, and time is wasted on unproductive prospecting. While marketing and sales funnels are becoming more and more complex, it's common that these two teams have trouble seeing eye to eye. And historically, marketing teams have been held accountable for leads, while sales teams have been held accountable for revenue. Because they're measured by separate goals, a lot of times this leads to this finger pointing and arguing about how a company should be investing in their marketing spend in order to deliver revenue. And by having separate goals, marketing and sales have also created separate systems and processes for tracking those goals, and they use separate software to perform their jobs. Separating the data across the buying cycle results in a disjointed buying process and is not good for your prospects. So we are now in what we call the revenue era, and digital is no longer just a channel, it's your entire brand experience. Marketing and sales now share the same goals. They're both measured and focused on driving more revenue and improving the customer experience. So how did we get here? Let's talk a little bit through this evolution. Marketing sales over the past few decades have been defined by 3 different eras. We started in the brand era, where marketers were limited to just billboards, magazine ads, TV commercials, and it was really difficult to track the impact of marketing on your company's revenue stream. And as technology evolved, we moved into what we call the demand gen era. We're talking about digital advertising platforms, marketing technologies, CRMs, cloud applications. And since marketing success in the demand gen era was measured by leads, we also started to see this division between sales and marketing. Now we're in the revenue era, and digital transformation is happening overnight. The pandemic was certainly a catalyst into this era, and buyers have come to expect real-time marketing and sales engagements. So with this, the go-to-market teams are now aligned around the same goal, again, which is revenue.
Awesome. Thanks for the background, Julianne. So as Julianne said, in the degen era, like everything, sales, measured revenue, marketing, measured leads. And now we were all focused on tracking revenue, right? So what should we be looking at? So putting this into practice, first and foremost, we actually have a new VP of revenue marketing for this very reason, because it doesn't just stop at pipeline or what Julianne was saying in terms of like revenue, right? We have a new VP of marketing where people like me on the prospect side, responsible for thinking about what campaigns we go to market with, report into the same person that my counterparts on upsell or expansion report into. We're the same team, we have shared goals, so we have to campaign plan together, and it really forces us to think about the entire customer journey from start to finish, from what tactics we use at the top of the funnel all the way through, and to what we'll do for customers to expand them in the same segment, all planned together for the quarter, all on the same page. So first, let me quickly explain the KPIs that we have listed here, because we report on these 5 metrics like most of you probably do today, but we call them a little bit differently, or we use different verbiage because here at Drift, we sit around the idea that everybody's human. So that's the premise of Drift, right? We're connecting to a person, not a buyer. So with this idea, we don't start with the lead. We actually call them an interested person. Instead of an MQL, it's a distributed interested person. Schedule conversations, because it all starts with a conversation instead of saying demos booked or demos held. And then most importantly, the holy grail, and what we're really going to be talking about today, opportunities and pipeline. So this ensures we all want the same thing. Our leads and our activities are all around generating opportunities. And that changes the game in our behaviors. Like SDRs aren't booking meetings with everybody, right? They know the titles that convert the best. Marketing isn't investing in accounts that don't drive pipeline. We know what's most likely to convert. So using these KPIs, it's really data-driven, it's focused, it's helpful to speak the same language so that I'm never asking like the SDR team to do something that doesn't serve them in booking qualified meetings and hitting their quota for opportunities, and they're not questioning, marketing's intentions and strategies. So while marketing still held to the plan goal for all of these 5 KPIs, the shift in the mindset and what Julianne was really talking about is toward marketing having a primary goal of ops and pipeline, and that does impact what we do on a daily basis. So quick example where this mind shift has kind of affected what we pass over to sales at Drift. Even maybe like 2 quarters ago, 3 quarters ago, we saw red in the funnel, like through the funnel. And I think the marketing team really just at the time wanted to show some green, especially at the top, right? Like we wanted to hit the goals, at least for the top metrics, something we could control, like leads or those MQLs, those distributed interested people. And that's with good intention, which is important to say. There's a lot of companies and leaders that take this approach, meaning like if you fill the top, the idea is that it simply converts down the funnel. But this is what gets sales and marketing teams misaligned really, really quickly, because now marketing's more focused on the top, while sales is still really focused on those opportunity metrics and pipeline metrics at the bottom. And so when we did that, we had so many leads, lots of distributed interested people, but SDRs couldn't sort through the noise. Their SLAs plummeted, sales wasn't getting more meetings, fingers were pointed each way, right? It's that classic conundrum. Marketing is passing plenty over, sales says it's crap, it's not converting. So when we really took a step back and focused on opportunities, and we reminded ourselves that the top priority out of these 5 metrics is pipeline, we did a lot differently. So we ended up cutting 65% of our volume of leads. We reduced that number of interested people significantly. So much so that we knew we weren't going to hit the goals in the plan for this metric. That was strategic. That was a decision we made where we were like, it's okay to be red at the top of the funnel and see red every day when we see green toward the bottom, because we're aligned and better results. Then we tightened our criteria for the dip. So we reduced what we passed and what qualified as for an SLA response. And then as a result, really, we doubled those conversion rates. We doubled the conversion rates to meetings held, our scheduled conversations, with only 65% of the interested people. And then we had roughly same or more number of meetings in a quarter. So we know what, channels, what tactics are working, and those like criteria that we're passing, and what is actually a qualified lead now. We just needed more volume. But I think, ultimately trust is restored. And more importantly, we're not bogged down. We're all focused on pipe generation.